I'm going to do another spirit art reading in a little bit, but I wanted to mention before the reading, I will be doing readings again at Serenity Rock / Halos on Saturday, December 5th from 10:30 to 3:30 p.m. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about why I cry so much during my spirit art readings. I don't cry all the time during my in-person readings. It kind of depends what I pick up. If I pick up people, there's a larger chance that I'll cry, because if I pick up somebody, it just means that the connection is really strong. I will feel it as an emotional connection. A lot of times when people come to me for a reading, I will feel a lot of love from the spirit world for the sitter. And when I feel all that love for the sitter, it usually involves me crying because the emotion becomes very overwhelming. Every reading is different, so I don't know if I'm going to cry or not before reading, but during these sorts of readings, these sorts of spirit art readings that I put online, when the connection becomes really strong, I do start crying, but usually it's during the actual drawing process. It's not during the before or after the reading, because I'm not as connected in that point. I'm connected during the reading, and I usually am connected on my mental / cerebral field, so that's further out, and then the emotional field is a little bit closer. So when I tell the spirit that they can come closer so that I can connect more, they're coming deeper into the fields, and then that's like deeper into the emotional field, and then I can cry, because for this sort of information to come through, I have to be in a state of allowing the images to come through, and therefore also allowing the emotions to come through as well, because it's still information from the spirit that is trying to communicate. So with that being said, let's get started on this next spirit art reading. Now, I still feel a lot of heaviness right now, so the connection is still pretty strong. Let me just explain what this drawing is. I want to preface this by saying I'm not a historian, but I believe that this is Thomas Jefferson. He came in such a way that I thought he might have been a woman first, because I did see a silhouette here, and then I thought it was a young girl, probably because I saw that the hair was long. And then when I finally got to drawing the individual, he kind of presented in this way, like looking up. And then, of course, I drew the waves last. He didn't show up with this white, like, hair that is some sort of founding father hair or whatever they wore in the 1700s, but you know, this is the hairstyle that I got, and this is a little blue bow at the bottom. It's a wig, because I can see his hair coming through and everything like this. He appears to be a young man. I don't know what Thomas Jefferson off the top of my head was famous for looking like. I'm getting more images of Benjamin Franklin, and he was like a little bit chunkier. This is like a younger man. He's really sad. I took some notes. He's just has this feeling of sadness and this feeling of unrequited love. Because I always get words and insight, so I like write it down during the drawing. So Thomas Jefferson, whoever this guy is, he has brown hair and brown eyes, very heartbroken. I'm getting a lot of feelings of overwhelming heartbreak. I think he's very heartbroken about what is happening now in the United States to the American people, because he's a founding father and they knew that something like this could happen, but they did not know exactly how. And it doesn't really matter if they knew that the current situation would happen or a similar situation, because it's still painful to watch. It's still very painful to watch, even if they hold out a lot of hope that really great things are going to come from this period of time. It's very painful to watch the American people in the country endure hardships and hatred and division, things that some of the founding fathers knew would happen, and yet it's still very painful. Okay, because they saw their progeny or the future as people that they really cared about a lot. They really cared about the future of the United States, and it's very hard for them to see what's happening right now. And I think that the waves are waves of emotion, and they represent the waves of emotion of the American people, and just waves of change that are going to happen too. It's like uncontrolled, unbridled emotion, and then also waves of change and information coming in. So it's just like waves, and it's completely unstoppable. Like everything is going, like information is going to come in big crashes, and it's just going to crash. It's going to crash over people, and they're not going to expect. It's like when you see a wave out in the ocean, it's very beautiful to watch from far away, but when you're in it, when the wave crashes on you, it's not as beautiful. Like you're in it. Water is extremely powerful force, and so crashing waves are coming, or crashing waves are here, and maybe we have both depending on who you are. Also, waves of sorrow, waves of heartbreak. Once again, I felt lots and lots and lots of heartbreak. I felt lots and lots and lots of unrequited love. The great unrequited love, I think that means between the United States, the people, and then the government. Because what's happening now is that people love the government is not loving the people the way it should. Or there's something going on where the unrequited love is, or maybe it's the good part of the government that's trying to come out and it's not being appreciated, so it's not being loved by the American people the way it should. Either way, the relationship is extremely off balance, and that is something that the forefathers did see coming, but they didn't see how it was going to manifest in this exact moment. And it's very hard for them to watch. It's disturbing, and they are, I mean, I'm not really sure how, but they are with us. They are with us. They do feel responsible, but they feel responsible for protecting us, and then also for some of the issues that have arisen, because they obviously tried to prevent some of the issues from happening. Okay, what else do I have here? Also, he spoke about, or I was picking up stuff about bracing for the waves. So you can brace for the waves, like brace for change, but it does, you're still gonna get caught in the waves. You're still gonna get caught in the waves. Like you can't really avoid it. So we have the regular type ocean, but I did see a lot of red in the ocean, and so I thought maybe this is some sort of like red tide. This is some sort of crimson tide, because this beginning color was crimson. That was the title of the color, and then I switched to red. So there is actually literally crimson, the crimson color in the water. Sometimes I thought maybe the red in the water was some sort of blood or something, like there was some sort of battle. Maybe there was a historic battle too that happened in the water, and there's blood that Thomas Jefferson was involved in. Yes, him and the other founding fathers were aware of the unhappiness of the relationship between the United States and the government, and it's very painful to watch. It's very painful to watch, but the show must go on. Like, there's a lot of things that have to still change in order for the conclusion of the show to arrive. So they're waiting for the conclusion to get here, and it takes a while, and the show must go on despite these huge waves, because the waves are coming. Some of the waves are here. Everybody's going to get caught up in the waves. It's just a matter of how you're going to react to the waves, because some of the waves are rage. Some of them are rage. So when I got these red waves, I was like, okay, well, it could be the metaphorical red wave, like the Republican vote wave, and it can also be waves of anger and rage that are going to come through. And it's not just going to be for people whose votes were not counted. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the election. This is something larger than the election. It has something to do with being lied to and how things aren't really functioning the way that we're told they are. And so it's going to anger America in a lot more ways than we're expecting, because it's going to affect everybody, and it doesn't matter who you voted for. It's just going to be waves and waves and waves of rage. Now, are people going to react violently? I mean, maybe some. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there's going to be violence. I'm just saying these are waves of emotion. And everybody's going to be going through these waves of emotion and these waves of discovery and catharsis and all these other types of violent emotions that a lot of times they will be internal, but they're really going to rock everybody to their core. And he's calling this situation the great unrequited love. That's what he's saying, like the great unrequited love. So I'm assuming, like I said, that's between the government and the people. It's this great unrequited love. I'm not really sure who was betrayed in this situation. I'm assuming it's the people that were betrayed. And then also there's a great deal of cruelty and trickery that's going on, and that is what's going to enrage people. The founding fathers, well, especially this one, who I believe is Jefferson, is really upset and heartbroken. So he's not enraged. He's not enraged. He's more like very sad and heartbroken for his people and for the great cruelty that is being perpetrated right now. Okay, I mean, this was really an intense reading, and I'm not a historian. I'm not trying to make political videos with spirit art. This is not what I'm trying to do. This just happened to be what I came through today. If this resonates with you, please let me know. I do think this is a general reading, but if you recognize this young man that I drew, please let me know. I'll be back with another spirit reading soon. Bye.